What's going on, everyone? It's Adam here from No Shelf Space, and today we're talking about board games reviews, and specifically two things I hate to get in an email when I talk to a publisher about a board game review. Now, you might look at this channel and say, how does this guy with 104 subs get so many games to review? And it's not because of this channel, guys. It's because I do write for a fairly successful independent video game and board game website called gamesreviews.com, and we get a lot of the stuff through there as we have tens of thousands of readers reading our content over on that site. And so that's primarily where, when I get a review in, that's primarily where I'm pushing content that will be read by, thousands of people. Here, this is just a hobby. But every once in a while, I don't reach out on behalf of gamesreviews.com. I reach out on behalf of my channel, and I'm really small. I recognize I'm really small, and that's why I get a lot of the same responses, and we're going to talk about that right now. So like I said, there are two responses that I get that's four. There are two responses that I get that I really hate. One is, we can send you a copy of the game that you can print out and then play yourself at home. Number two is, well, we have a demo of the game on Tabletop Simulator. You can try it out there. I understand why these companies are doing that, especially smaller publishers and developers and designers, is because it costs money to send a game out, whether it's for an unboxing, whether it's for a review, whether it's for a preview, paid preview, whatever. It costs money to send something out to someone, so there has to be some value in return. So when people see my channel, 104 subs, they might wonder, hey, what's the value in sending a fully boxed, completed, shrink-wrapped game to this individual? Now, I've had a couple videos do very well. I've had some with thousands of views. I've had some with less than 100 views. And so they need to look at it. Look, the content I make, do they enjoy the content? Does the content resonate with people? Does he play a certain kind of game? All of those factors are weighing into whether or not UPS is dropping a box off at my doorstep with a board game inside. So, like I said, I often get offered the opportunity to do a print and play, and I always turn down print and plays. I turn down print and plays for two reasons. One, it's a lot of work to print this stuff out, and there are so many board games available for me to even purchase myself at a low price, at a low cost, and review that or make content around that, as opposed to something that I'm going to have to print out myself, maybe laminated if it's something that you might want to have laminated for when it's on the table. And it's costly. You got to print it all out. You got to prep it all and get it all ready to be played with. Then you're going to have people over, and it's a lot of work for a small channel like mine to actually review something. And someone will say, well, what if it's a major game? This almost never applies to a major blockbuster game. Almost never, because those games have so many different components that the publisher coming back to me, if they're not ready for me as a channel to play it and review it or unbox it or whatever else, they're just going to give you a flat out no, and you have to be okay with that, and I always am. So print and play, that's off the table for me. I fully understand why people do it, and I'm not saying they shouldn't, because there are other people who are like, sign me up. I will do a print and play, and I will do it today. The other thing I hate is Tabletop Simulator. Now, Tabletop Simulator is a great way to experience board games without actually sending a physical copy out to somebody. And there are a ton of channels who preview games based on Tabletop Simulator, and there's a lot of websites that do it as well. And all the more power to them. The issue I have is a personal issue. I do not want to play a big game on Tabletop Simulator. I don't want to be scrolling around the virtual tabletop, trying to find pieces, trying to see what other people are doing. That is just not fun for me. And so if I'm left to review a game based on Tabletop Simulator, my level of excitement for that game or how I feel about how it plays is already being impacted by the fact that the experience, in my opinion, just isn't up to par. And someone says, well, maybe you're not playing good games on Tabletop Simulator or even digital versions of games. And I'll give you two examples. I absolutely love two games from Stonemaier Games, Wingspan and Charterstone. Both those games have a virtual version that you can play on a Nintendo Switch. I think you can play it on PC. I think you can play it on Xbox. And I own those versions on those platforms. And it's just not fun. It is too much work scrolling around, especially in Charterstone, scrolling around, trying to figure out what you want to grab, what resources you want. Are there benefits to virtual digital games? Of course there are. But it's just not the way I want to experience a board game. So if someone comes back to me, and this is where bigger board game companies will push you that way, When they come back to me, they're like, hey, would you like to try out a demo on Tabletop Simulator? My answer is almost always, again, going to be no. Does that hinder my channel? Perhaps. Perhaps, because I'm not going to be playing some of the biggest and best games. And I think if I didn't have the access I have because of the website I write for, I might change my tune just a little bit, where I still don't enjoy the experience, but at least I get to try the game. And I can write about the game itself. Thankfully, though, because of the website, I do get a good amount of games in every month that I check out. My board game group meets regularly. We love playing new games. Print and play, Tabletop Simulator, digital versions of games. It's just avenues I'm not willing to go down. Now, there are going to be creators that say, this guy's crazy, he's wrong, he's not doing the best for his channel by turning down these opportunities. But it really just is a personal decision. So you'll probably never see that on this channel. But you will be seeing a lot of board games coming up. We're heading to Gen Con quite soon. We're going to have a ton of content from there. You want to help me out, guys? Please hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you know every time I'm putting up a new video. I've got tons of stuff planned around Shatterpoint, around Descent, Betrayer's War. That's Act 2 of Descent Legends of the Dark. I've got content coming out for Monster Hunter World coming up in the fall and the winter. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys will join me for the ride. But until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll talk again soon. Goodbye.